Hey, you love feeling smart, don't you? You love your complex funnels, your 12-step email sequences, and your proprietary AI-driven marketing stack, right? Bravo. Good for you, right? You think that because it's complicated, that it's valuable, right? Well, here's the truth. In the world of true residual income, complexity is the kiss of death. Are you with me? And I'm actually going through this myself as we speak. I'm actually redoing my entire funnel to make it super simple for anyone to jump right in and take off for the stars, right? And here's the thing, is that if your business requires a master's degree in digital marketing, or let's say, the charisma of a Hollywood actor in order for your system to work, if that's the case, then you haven't built a business, right? You've built a cage made of your own genius. Again, bravo. Hey, listen, the dreams are big, but the margins, they're thin. Welcome to the Home Business Hustle. I'm your host, Isai Rodriguez, and in my world, we don't do maybe, right? We do math. We don't follow trends. We build systems. No fluff, no filters, just the cold, hard truth. So let's dive in, all right? So yeah, I'm serious. If you're building a high IQ business that can't be duplicated by a low IQ system, then you're essentially, for all intents and purposes, you're shooting yourself in the foot with a loaded gun, right? I have a friend, we'll call him Dave, right? Dave is a world-class sales closer, right? He can go to North Africa and sell sand to the locals out there in the middle of the Sahara, right? And Dave, he built a team and tried to teach them his secrets. But guess what happened? His team couldn't close like he could. Like, they couldn't replicate Dave's efforts. They didn't have the 20 years of experience that Dave had. Dave was the bottleneck in his organization, in his business, right? He was the problem because his system was complex and it was fragile. See, when Dave stopped selling, the money stopped flowing. That's it. Period. Hard stop. He was essentially a superstar on a treadmill. He didn't quite understand the non-negotiable principle of duplication, right? And I'm going to show you why the boring and the simple models are the only ones that actually pass the audit and create wealth that lasts. Okay? So first thing, let's look at the structural economics of your income, right? If you look at your growth formula, it probably looks something like this, right? It probably looks like, your total income equals your talent times your hours. Are you with me? Pretty straightforward, right? But that equation, that's a linear equation, right? It's a job, if you will, right? To get a true residual royalty, that math has to change to a geometric equation, right? So that looks something more like, your total income equals the simplicity of your system to the nth power. So however simple your system is to the nth, right? Where n is essentially the number of people who can duplicate what it is that you do. How simple it is. How repeatable is it, right? If your system simplicity is 0 because it's too hard to copy, then your total income stays tethered to your own heartbeat, to you, right? Or better said, if a system requires a special talent to work for it, for it to work, for it to move, for it to whatever, then it's a big old 0 out of 4 on the audit. See, true leverage comes from other people's time, right? But you can only leverage OPT if the T or the task is so simple that anyone can do it, right? If you have to be a guru to make it work, you can't scale. It's unscalable, right? The reality is that big complex systems, they just break. That's the way it works. They're fragile, right? They're prone to break. That's like, just think about how reliable the USPS package delivery is, right? I'll just put it out there. Their system is so huge, so bloated that it constantly breaks down, and you never receive your packages by the time that they promise, right? Again, the reality is the more moving parts that your business has, for example, inventory, staff, complex tech, high ticket closing tactics, things like that, then the more friction that you have within your business, right? And friction eats your profit. It eats your time, right? A duplicatable system, on the other hand, has zero friction because the process is standardized. Here's a tip that'll probably save you years of wasted effort, is that if you can't explain the core mechanism of your business to a 10-year-old in 10 minutes, then you don't have a system. You have a hobby, and a complicated one at that, right? If it's not simple enough to be taught quickly, it's not simple enough for you to grow geometrically, right? Are you with me? Remember, wealth is found in the replication, not in the innovation, okay? Think about it. Why does a franchise work so great? McDonald's, for example. I love using McDonald's as an example. Well, a franchise works because a teenager can run the system, right? They aren't hiring chef experts or anything. They're hiring system followers, right? And so if you want a 4 out of 4 audit score on your business, you need to stop trying to be the expert and start being the architect of a mundane, repeatable, simple process. So stop being the smartest guy in the room, okay? Stop building complex expert businesses that rely entirely on your brain power, right? And your 80-hour work weeks, right? Stop doing all that, because you'll never be free, right? You might be successful, right? You may be making money, you may be making bank, but you won't be free, right? You'll just be a very well-paid slave to your own talent, okay? The alternative to this life, this scenario, is to embrace the power of simple, to build a model where the product is consumable, the system is duplicatable, and the math overall is geometric. Okay, I'm talking about a structure that passes every single audit criteria, right? Because it's built for the masses, not the masters, okay? And you know what bothers me is that most people are too arrogant to build a simple business, right? They want to prove how smart they are, right? But I urge you, I implore you, I beg you, right? Don't make the 7-figure mistake of outsmarting your bank account or attempting to outsmart your bank account, right? So for you, I've put together the 7-figure mistake audit checklist to show you if your current model is too complex to ever create true residual royalty, all right? Follow the link in the description right now. Run the audit, okay? And see if your genius is actually your biggest liability. It's going to tell you right off the bat, right? I'll leave you with this one last thought before we sign off, is that simple scales and complex fails. All right, then, the audit is now closed, but your move is just beginning. You've got the math. Now go out there and get the money. I'm your host, Isai, and this is the Home Business Hustle. Remember, if it doesn't scale, it's just another jail. So stop trading your time for a dime and start building your residual royalty today. I'll catch you on the other side, and I'm going to be out, my friends. Take care. Bye.